Welcome back, troops. Yes, we are live on a Monday for the first time in a long time, right? But we have got some good woo to follow up from last night's amazing show over on Warrior Mode. We're going to be getting into some creepy cryptids. We'll be taking a look at the Devil's Bath, DB Cooper, and then moving on to the Kev Baker show. You'll be able to catch that on TFR Live or over on Discord. Click like, click share. I'll be with you in just a moment. There you go. That was nice and chill, right? Some kickback music there. Yeah, indeed. We're back. We're live. Another week of madness is now commencing right here on KBS. The Kev Baker Show. Yes, indeed. Coming to you live from under the Data Dome over in Smart City, Glasgow. And today on the Kev Baker Show proper. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Have I found something interesting about data? So we'll hopefully be having Jimmy Jeans jump on to join me for that. Maybe, potentially, possibly, in the offing. Nacy might be jumping on to join me talking about that. And also, as promised in hour number 2, we open up the phones for all of you. I'm getting corny and cheesy, right? But yeah, so another week starts. But I tell you what, it started off early last night. Now, I know the whole Warrior Mode experience isn't for everyone, and that's okay because that's how we roll here. We cater for all different belief systems, ideas. We try to cover all bases. But sometimes on Warrior Mode, you miss a golden nugget, honestly, because we had 2 guests last night with over 100 years of research, experience, and investigations into high strangeness and the paranormal. We had Lon Strickler and Stan Gordon. Man, they knocked it clean out the park. Our good friend Algo, he thinks it was one of the best shows you ever listened to. He has probably just been nice, admittedly, probably. But it really, really got me into the cryptid mood. So today we're going to take a look at some cryptids. Got a thing about the Devil's Bath. I've never heard of this before. If I had, I've forgotten. It's pretty cool. We'll take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at one of my favourite real crime stories, D.B. Cooper. So with that said, and that out of the way, let me head on over to the chat room to give my warm welcome to all of you fellow travellers out there. And first in the chat today, Jose Ramon Francis. That's like 2 streams on the trot, dude. I'm impressed. I really am. Now, Malaya, our good friend Malaya, it would appear that she has been blighted by that known phenomenon that visits us, hopefully not ever in a lifetime, but from time to time, we get inundated with an invasion of smoking gnomes. Yes, indeed, those pesky little garden fishermen and porcelain-looking creepy things with big red hats on. They are stealing Malaya's PPP. So listen, gnomes, and I know you're listening, right? Right? Stop it. Just stop it. From one wee guy to another wee species, just stop that nonsense, okay? None of it. So hopefully, Malaya, hopefully my sternly worded warning that's going out to 21 people in a world of 7.5 billion might have an effect. It might just work that magic juju. It'll get rid of that know me woo woo, okay? I know, it's one of these days, right? So, Carol, good to see you, Carol. Throwing in the KBS unicorn. We love the unicorns here. Who else we got kicking about? What other lunatics have we got in the chat room? Talking of lunatics, there's two of them. No particular order. ZX and Sidvich. How you doing? Look at that. ZX. Oh, with the Celtic telegraph going, my mind to your mind to my mind, dude. We melded. You knew the show was about to commence. There was a disturbance in ZX Force. Yes, there was. So we're here anyway, ZX. I'm glad you made it, dude. You know, it's getting super synced, says Malaya. Yes, I'm noticing that. But at the same time, I often have to give myself a reality check, a knock on the head. Remember, never forget, okay? Please remember that we as humans, we are finely tuned to look for patterns. It's how we've got to where we are today. Survival relied on it at one point. But with that comes a great peril, because we also have a tendency to see patterns where none actually exist. We connect dots of our own making, ladies and gentlemen, and we convince ourselves of the most elaborate, highly constructed ideas. We convince ourselves it's all real, but in reality, it's just our little quantum processors working overtime. Yes, indeed. What a great world we live in, right? So, who else we got in here? The Wookiee. St. Marionette. It feels like forever since I've said that name. I hope you're doing well. Williamism. Yes, ding-a-ling, indeed. We have got Williamism, R.I.P. Rick Clay. Oh, that was good times, dude. Good times, 2012 Olympics. All that stuff, yeah. Taken well before his time. Nice young man. Wonder how far he would have gone in the research kind of community. A long way, I would imagine. For anyone who hasn't checked out Rick Clay, RIKCLAY, very interesting stuff. Very interesting. So, with that said, let me come on over here. And here's the show that we were part of, or I've been talking about from last night. And I'm not going to play much of it. I just kind of want to give a taste of some of the stuff that Lon and Stan were talking about. And then we'll launch into some phantoms, monsters, the Devil's Bath, gargoyles. We were talking about gargoyles last night. I found a story on the website. It's awesome. Awesome. We'll be taking a look at weird creatures as well. Mystery creatures closing down beaches in the UK. It's all going on right here. So take a listen to this.
Turkey vulture. We're talking 10 to 20 foot span in some cases. And then we get reports of these things that apparently they have no feathers. They have like leathery type of skin. They're like a giant bat. That's been something that's been reported more and more recent years. And then we have people who are so reluctant to even tell us about this, but they swear they saw something that's prehistoric, like a pterodactyl or pterotorn. And then we have dragon and gargoyle reports. And then we have these winged humanoid reports that I've had over the years, and similar to what Lon's been looking into. And so it's just really incredible. But again, come from really credible witnesses, just like the other categories of phenomena and anomalies we talked about with Bigfoot and other creatures that people are reporting. They're giving us these little details and similar details. And they have no reason to make up the story. They want no publicity. They're reluctant to tell you about it. They've been ridiculed by a lot of people they tell their accounts to. And so why would you make these stories up? But there's something going on out there, and it's just one phenomena among so many others that are ongoing. It's so strange what's happening there.
Let me ask you both this, and Derek, I know you have a question, and I'll let you ask your question after this. Now, I want your opinion, both of you, on this. Do you feel that A, there's an increase, and B, what is the reason for this increase if in fact there is an increase? What do both of you think on that?
What, you talking about the winged humanoids? Or
yeah, all of this phenomena.
Well, I don't know. You know, is there extraterrestrial involvement on this stuff? Yeah, I think it may be for some of these beings. Is there an interdimensional aspect to it where, and I'm not just talking about, when I say dimensions, I'm talking about Earth dimensions where it even could be underground.
Yeah.
Do they have the ability to move through vortexes or through portals or something? You know, we've been talking about that forever. And of course, you know, I believe there are other cryptids that have that ability. But, you know, this is something that you got to think out of the box on. And, you know, we have been developing some ways of trying to get non-physical evidence. And, you know, for those people who don't like non-physical evidence, well, you know, that's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
You're just, you know, you can believe it or not believe it. But, you know, I think we made some steps towards this as we've gone along. And but to be honest with you, I think the extraterrestrial theory may hold more water at this point. So, you know, I think these beings are able to move in and out, but they may be extraterrestrially related.
So in and out of dimensions.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. And Stan, will you?
Thank you, Jennifer. Renewed membership there. Thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. So we got a little taste there of last night's show that really sent me down the cryptid rabbit hole. Now, Stan Gordon, he's somebody that's been researching this stuff from early on in the 60s with the Kecksburg UFO incident. And for people who might not be familiar with the name of it, think the acorn-shaped craft that was allegedly picked up and retrieved by the military. So he's been researching it from the 60s, Lon about the same time as well. There's a lot of research in there, folks, a lot of experience. And when you see Lon and Stan coming on Warrior Mode, I think we're going to try and get them on once a month. It really is worth our time to check out what they're being or what they're having reported to them going on around the world. Now, again, we're not going to switch off logic. We have to think to ourselves that in amongst some of these reports, there are going to be people who are being a little fictitious, shall we say. I've always said it only just takes one of these reports to really open up a whole can of paranormal woo. And me, for one, I think there's a lot more going on. And we're finding out a lot more now as well, because I've been very kind of critical about the whole disclosure thing, going mainstream and stuff like that. But there's two sides to every coin, right? And one thing it has done, I think, is it's opened up this kind of conversation, these kind of topics, the woo as we call it here, the cryptids, the creatures, things that go bump in the night. It's now made it a lot easier for people who at one time probably would never dared have talked about this stuff for a number of reasons. Now people feel more comfortable. And I think we're going to find that more people will start to share experiences that we've never heard about. It's okay going to Lon and Stan's websites, and there are thousands of reports to sift through. But think of the thousands of reports of people who haven't come forward for fear of ridicule. Maybe they've got a good job, they're worried about their reputation, all that kind of stuff. So I absolutely love this topic, as you know, all of these topics. And I was telling the members yesterday, when it comes to YouTube, we keep it real woo, real kind of mysteries and the ancient stuff and the nice kind of good woo that brings us all together and really gets us thinking. We can open our minds and we can brainstorm things. Whether we ever get a definitive answer on some of these things, like, for example, where the Bigfoot comes from, I really I have to admit, I don't know if we'll ever get to a place where we can honestly, say we fully understand what's going on there. And I think a lot of these topics are like that. A lot of these topics are, and we have to be satisfied, if that's the correct word to use, just to be able to talk about these things, to converse about them, to share ideas, to try and figure out what's going on. Because I think we're a long way from them being fully understood. Last night I threw out there just an idea, with the Earth's magnetic field changing, then is that allowing some more of these creatures, cryptids, weirdness to be taking place? You talk about the many worlds theory. So if we go along those lines, you go back to when the dinosaurs were wiped out by the asteroid, right? Well, in another reality, they weren't. So that branched off, and there was an Earth where the dinosaurs went on. Well, what did that Earth end up becoming? And are we starting to see bleed-throughs of these different realities? I don't know. But Stan mentioned pterodactyls there, and there was pterodactyls in the news today. Yes, indeed. You like how I done that? I even liked how I done that. That wasn't bad for me. But if we come over here, now this isn't talking about a pterodactyl that's been spotted in the past couple of weeks or anything like that. Nothing like that. Although, having said that, there have been people reporting them to people like Stan and Lon, and we're going to take a look at a report about a gargoyle. Yep, a gargoyle as well. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But if we come over here, check out this huge, gigantic, scary as hell pterodactyl. Terrifying pterosaur with a 23-foot wingspan and a spear-like mouth flew over Australia, mate, 105 million years ago, and was the closest thing we have to a real-life dragon. Check that out. Now, look, the only reason I've really brought this story to the table today is because it fits. It just fits with the conversation we had last night, the pterodactyl thing. I noticed it stood out today when I was taking a look for some stories to go over. But yeah, they're the pterodactyl. They're the weird, creepy pterodactyl. I call it a weird, creepy pterodactyl because that's terrifying. So like I say, remember, many worlds, hypothetically, theoretically. There's another Earth out there where the dinosaurs went on. Where they went on, and what did they become? And did that end up with a world that looks like, I don't know, something like the Lord of the Rings? And if that's the case, do these worlds sometimes bleed through together? A whole lots of ifs and maybes, and probably nowhere near anything that resembles an explanation to anything going on, right? But that's okay. That's okay, because that's how we roll here. That's how we roll. So we're going to take another little listen to what's going on here. I'll get a little drink of coffee. And there's Scott Brown in the chat room. Scott Brown, I tell you, man, you give me a lot to think about over on Twitter, so you do. So I tell you, I love you and I hate you. And I tell you why, because you challenge a lot of the things that I've just taken for granted over the years. And I like that. I like it. But it's also uncomfortable as well, because I come to find some of the things that I really took to be very, very true, and really just didn't really question thoroughly at all. Now I'm having to rethink them. Oh, but I always encourage people to do that. So for people who are into true ufology, not the ufological conspiratorial industrial complex, not that side of it, proper like research into it. Scotty Brown, follow him on Twitter. Let's take a little listen to this, and I can get a drink of coffee, and then we'll start getting into the gargoyles, the woo, the devil's bath, that you wouldn't get me taking a dip in anytime soon. I'm just saying.
What's your thoughts on it?
Well, as we've discussed in past programs, my feeling is this, that there's more than one origin to the unknown category of the UFO phenomenon. I've been saying that for years and years. And when I got involved with this so many years ago, everything was, these are all extraterrestrial. All these UFO reports are all spacecraft from another planet. The more I've learned about the phenomena, the less I'm looking at that, even though I think a percentage of these things could possibly be extraterrestrial. But whatever the phenomena is, it's so much more complex, so much more unusual, I'm beginning to see more and more some connection between the various cryptids and some of these other cases of other phenomena we're dealing with. It has a physical and a non-physical component to it. They're in and out. They come and they go. At times they leave evidence. It's so mysterious and strange. But I'm more and more leaning towards, for lack of a better term, something interdimensional. That these things, under certain conditions, come into our physical reality. People see them, and especially with UFO sightings, these things suddenly appear out of nowhere. Even beautiful afternoons. They're not all sightings at night. Many in daylight. They change physical form. They suddenly appear and disappear. Sometimes.
Look, how good is Lon Strickler looking, by the way? You know, Lon was in hospital not long ago, and I had to say to him last night, man, he's looking about 5-10 years younger, and it's great to see Lon looking so well. It really is.
People see these very large objects. They can see the solid outline as moving across the sky, but they can see through them. And there's sometimes different types of electromagnetic effects involved. But the one pattern I saw years ago, it continues to be ongoing, is that many low-level, close-range UFO sightings and many encounters with Bigfoot and Thunderbirds and out-of-place animals like black panthers and other cryptids commonly occur in the vicinity of high-energy sources. So we continue to get reports around high-tension power lines, power plants, gas wells, radio towers, railroad tracks, things like that. And I have no doubt there's some connection there.
Yeah, they're feeding on that energy. I wouldn't doubt that for a second.
Well, look at that. I need to pause. We have got our good friend Steve Hodgson is in the chat room. Steve, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well as well. I was just saying how well Lon's looking, and I know you've had your health problems recently, bro. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're on the mend, and I hope they're starting to narrow down what the problem is, because once they find out what's up, then we can get to getting you back to being fighting fit, and the two of us will be throwing punches in no time at all, Steve. Not at each other, man. And we'll get you back on the show. We'll get you on to hang out. We'll go over a whole bunch of hauntings or something. We can talk about Amityville horror. We can talk about these kind of ones that have been turned into horror movies. And dude, I'm just looking for lots and lots of woo type content. And definitely a place for you at that table here, Mr. Hodgson. Yes, indeed. So listen, during last night's show, we were talking to, obviously, on the far right here, Lon Strickler. Now, Lon is the man behind the Phantoms and Monsters website, but also Cryptid Hunters as well. And over here, we're on the cryptidhunters.org website. And this is a story that Lon was talking about during the show last night. A large bird-winged gargoyle perched on a Catholic church roof in Racine, and that's Wisconsin. Now, that sounds terrifying. And I always think of gargoyles as being like, obviously little statues, but small. I don't think of them being like big hulking big creatures, right? Think again. So it says here, I almost done a good job of building that up there, right? A Wisconsin resident, I'm not saying the R word because I'm probably butchering it, recalls observing a gargoyle perched on the roof of a local Catholic church, later realizing that they'd never seen this previously. So the next day, the gargoyle was not there. Because when I first heard this, I thought, okay, right. I mean, how often do we typically like really examine what's on a church when we walk by it? And maybe somebody hadn't noticed the statue before. But about 10 seconds into the story last night, I had to scrub that question off the list because, as we see here, it was there one day, gone the next. So it says, hello, Lon. I saw a post about a winged humanoid creature at O'Hare and found your name at the bottom. Okay, I don't know if this is the same thing or not. I live in Racine, Wisconsin, and yesterday, and that was August the 5th this year, at 8 a.m., I was in my backyard with my in my backyard after returning home from work. Now, across the street from my backyard are two old churches, both with bell towers. The bells, Quasimodo, the bells. So both also double as elementary schools. I know I'm a 45-year-old man-child. Deal with it. Just deal with it. I looked up and I noticed a gargoyle. Gargoyle? A gargoyle on that roof there, Kev. There's a gargoyle on the roof. All grey. Dark grey. But not as dark as described in the article, and no glowing red eyes on mine either. I will say it looked like stone though, unlike the membranous wings described in the O'Hare encounter. However, given how close this place is to Chicago, I thought reaching out was warranted. Anywho, this had to have been pretty large, as I could see the wings quite clearly. It was motionless. Now, at the time, I thought nothing of it. Old churches used gargoyles to ward off evil all the time. Is it to ward off evil? Or is it to welcome them in? I'm just saying. Not a fan of the organized church, folks. Nah, I'm not big into that. But if you are, that's okay. That's okay. Too many gargoyles for one thing for me. Old churches use them. Okay, we got that. But it hit me last night while working that I don't remember the church having gargoyles before. And why would it only have one? So I made a beeline to check it out when I got home this AM, about 7 AM. And sure as crap, it wasn't there. Now, I have no fear of what I saw, just still in a bit of disbelief. I'll be taking my phone out with me to try and snap a picture of it if it comes back. Now, personally, if it comes back and you see it run, just run. It's not going to end well. It was spotted on the roof of St. Joseph Church, or St. Joseph School Church, to the south of the bell steeple, just south of the inlaid cross, on the flat part of the roof facing Erie Street. Ooh. 152 Erie Street or Erie Street, Rackine, Wisconsin, blah, blah, blah. She doxed the church, is the address of the church and school. And it says, I was able to talk to DZ by phone on the 7th of August, and the description is quite interesting. The colours seem to be grey, greenish hue, with wings that resembled those of a bird, but without feathers. The wings were unfurled and not closed on the side or back. DZ stated that it was a typical gargoyle crouching position, but believes that it was at least 6 foot or more in height. Now that's a big boy gargoyle. The body was not thin, as most of the sightings have been described by other witnesses. Very believable and forthright witness. I think we can actually see the church in question here. There's it on Facebook. There's a picture of it. Not far from Chicago then. Not far at all. And of course we were getting back into all the winged humanoid or flying humanoid or high strangeness. Lots of reports around O'Hare Airport, and Lon was telling us last night about one where it was the TSA. Yeah, TSA, they responded. Who knew? Who knew? In the invasion of Mothman, the TSA would be there to as I cracked the joke last night. What were they going to do? Make it go through a body scanner? I know, probably too soon, but hey. So if we scroll down here and we go, O'Hare Mothman approached by multiple TSA security personnel. There you go. Look, I've got no idea what these things are all about, what's going on. And like I say to you, I'm not that naive that I believe every single report that I read. It just takes one. It just takes one in amongst all of this for it to be something very, very real. And as you know, I lean towards these things being very, very real. Where they come from, where they go to, we can debate that from now until the end of time, if time's even a thing, you know. Are they from other versions of Earth, i.e., many worlds theory. Is there a planet where us hairless apes didn't make it, and the Mothman was the biggest game in town, and it cohabits with the dinosaurs because the asteroid never hit, and blah blah. Are we starting to see through the veil? I've got no idea, but it's the woo, ladies and gentlemen, that we keep coming back for. And I'm going to go and get a quick drink of coffee, and then we will continue with our magical mystery tour of mayhem, Mothmen, gargoyles, and the Devil's Bath. Big shout out to a long time lurker, CE5 Circle. I like it. Charlie Echo 5 Circle. Definitely. That deserves a Charlie Echo 5 Circle. Yep. There you go. Good to see you. Nice you peeled yourself away from your PS4, PS5. I like that. I like it. What you playing? Anything good? Oh, Connie. Good to see you, Connie. You were sent much love and prayers last night on Warrior Mode. So good to have you back. Heart goes out to you, Connie. we go. Way big shout out to Carenza. I finally had a quick break. Can't stay long and had to pop back. My favourite place on the net. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So good to see you, Carenza. Now, that kind of made my day. Lovely comment. KBS is a fam of warriors, seekers, and all in-betweeners. Connie, I like that. When you get time, check out my little woo channel. You know, that's what we do on here. Let me see. Is it by the same name? I would imagine so, right? I know you can't see the screen yet. Okay. Have a look over here. See the things I do for you people out there. See, I'm not good to you. So here's there you go. Subbed. CE5 circle. Indeed. Flashes, flybys, and more now. I hope you're not flashing me. I'm only joking. Close encounters of the fifth kind, yes? Right, hang on now. Listen. Now, look. I hope you can take a good joke, CES5. But my audience around here, they think my music's terrible. I think my music sounds better now. I'm just saying. I'm only joking, dude. I'm West Yorkshire. Whereabouts, man? Whereabouts? I was in Harrogate. Loved it. Used to go to Knaresborough a lot. And a wee pub at Old Mother Shipton's. It was down right in the little kind of pool, but good times. Good times.
Hi, Simon here from C5 Circle. So I'm going to...
Oh, proper Yorkshireman. Oh, awesome, man. Listen, we're blatantly going to steal your content. We're going to play it. I'm having a laugh with you, CE5, man. Don't copyright me. And hopefully people will go and sub up to this. Here we go.
Show you a few videos of this month's contact events. And I'd also like to say thank you very much, Cindy, for having me on your show. And all your community has been very kind. So the first video is dedicated to Cindy Luhu and her community and all the nice messages they've written and all the new subscribers. So thank you very much for that. It means a lot. And yeah, enjoy the videos. Woo! Friend, could you do that again on the screen, please, my brother?
Nice, we've got some UFOs.
Flash. Wow, send you peace, my friend. Did it again. Can you flash again? To show my friends in the community. We're eager to see this interaction. Show them how we do human-initiated contact, my brothers. Wow, he's there. Can you do that again, my friend?
Don't know, but my pareidolia is kicking and I'm seeing faces.
Big and bright as you can, please.
I see dead people.
My friends, peace to you, my brothers. Just put a bit of background on there for you, look. Well, man, just powered up massive, look. Wow. Thank you. Watch it fade off now. I'll just zoom in. Wow, man, it powered up. See? Another one as well.
That's shifting.
Wow, two. Let's just focus in on this and zoom in. Wow, powered right up. Wow, man, two. And there were two more went by earlier on. This is incredible.
Whoa.
This now, full zoom now. Keep my arm on there, just took it out a bit. Whoa. Just wanted to catch it, to see where it went. Right, it's going over the chimney. Totally powered up, thank you, my friends. Can you power up again? Well off in distance now, like. Let's just watch.
Crystal Shaman, good to see you. And we're just taking a look at one of our viewers in the chat.
And it's
a
away
video.
over the chimney top. Now then, not an interesting one with the two going by there. CE5 circle. It powered up as well. That was awesome. Wow. Thank you, my friend. Wow, look at this. Just stationary in the sky. Look, I'm going to zoom right in. Thank you, my brother. Wow, looking wrong way. Well, so let's see what this does. It's totally stationary light. And now it's gone. Wow, there you go. There's some background. So that one, now you see it. No, you don't.
All right, that was a nice find, man. That was a nice find. I'm glad. You see, names catch my attention in the chat. There's usually a reason. Where's Scotty Lopez? I think he should be back from house sitting now. Yeah. Usually get Scotty on a Thursday around here, Shaw man. It says we have Scotty Day on Thursday. He gets his own day of the week. Yes, indeed. And Nacy is going to be joining me in hour number 1 today. And hour number 2, I hope. Jimmy Jeans might be there for hour number 2. I've got some good stuff about data. Oh, the game just got more interesting. But listen, we're talking cryptids, creatures, interdimensional creepers, many world series with dinosaurs and pterodactyls and gargoyles and all that kind of good stuff. But over here in the UK, check this out. Bournemouth Beach was closed after a large animal spotted in the sea. Oh, what's going on? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a shark? Is it Nessie? Well, it can't be Nessie because it's not Loch Ness, right? Boom, boom. So it says here, beachgoers were evacuated from the sea after reports of a large marine animal in the water. And the lifeguards instructed swimmers to leave the sea at Boscombe Beach in Bournemouth while they scanned the water on Wednesday. Whoa. Telling you. So his visitors took to social media and said that there had been a shark sighting. I think the shark is cover for mermaids and mermen. I'm only joking. Most likely was a shark. Most likely. But then another weird little beastie related type story. Check this out. This is a weird one. Weird limbless amphibians are found in the US. Listen, the US is already going a little bit cray-cray over there, and now even the animals are getting more bizarre. What is it? America, what have you done? What have you done? Did America get an upgrade in the Matrix that the rest of us didn't get or something? Or is it like beta testing the next level of the simulation? I don't know. There's something pretty freaky going on over there. Hey, and you know I love my American brothers and sisters, but there's an air of kind of weird woo going on. And now even you're getting these weird animals turning up. So scientists have discovered an ancient species of worm-like amphibian in Florida for the first time. Can I say reptilians? Typically native to Colombia? Well, Colombo. Almost said native to Colombo. They live in Colombo's jacket. That's what Colombo was doing when he was fiddling in his pockets all the time. I know there was people thinking he was being extremely dodgy, but he was actually nurturing this weird limbless amphibians in his pocket. So who knew? Obviously me. Listen, and don't go around telling people that I honestly think Columbo had worms in his pocket. I'm obviously joking. It's a bad day. In the year 2021, you feel, or at least I feel sometimes I have to explain when I'm joking. Because people take everything so damn literally, don't they? What's happened to people? What's happened to people, you know? So it says here the Typhlonocetes natans. That sounds like a really weird kind of basketball team from Kazakhstan or something, right? Grows up to around, what, it doesn't? Well, it does to me. Grows around 0.5 meter in length and resembles a large limbless worm. Can I maybe it's just me, but is it not like just a type of worm? I'm just saying. Oh, we've got the 21 timestamp. I don't know what it means. Get your geometric calendars out. Get the calculators going. Get your abacuses warmed up, ladies and gentlemen. You tell me. So it says, after one was caught in Florida by Popeye. Did Popeye grow these? Is he growing these for his chickens? Have we stumbled upon the conspiracy within the conspiracy? See how we find patterns everywhere? Or, like, again, I'm kind of generalizing. I find patterns everywhere. 9 times out of 10, it's not really a pattern, though. So there have been several other sightings. Very little is known about these animals in the wild, but there's nothing particularly dangerous about them, and they don't appear to be serious predators. Well, at no time did I look at that and think, holy crap, we're in trouble, eh? Oh man, that could eat like a whole family in a goer. Now, I know it's hard to get perspective with those rocks, but I'm guessing they're not big boulders. No, a good shoe. Anne would know how to take care of this. A shoe, please. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeed. Now, it makes me think of something I'm going to try and find, though. Because only in Glasgow, ladies and gentlemen, we've had some pretty torrential rain the past couple of days. Like horrendous rain. And I suppose, really, I could have opened the show with this, right? Because, was it last week we ended up getting into the weird and wonderful stories over a mysterious universe that talked about the mermaids and the mermen, right? And we talk about how but the synchronicities, Malaya was talking about the synchronicities earlier on that are appearing everywhere right now. One I like to joke about is, I've got the Australian flag here, right? Get guests on from Australia all the time. And my beloved Celtic football team, when they're looking for a new manager, we ended up getting some Australian dude that nobody had ever heard of. It turns out he's pretty decent, right? But you can have a laugh and a joke and we can say, Kev, that's you talking about Australia that much. You ended up with an Australian manager. But what if I was to tell you, maybe us laughing and joking about mermaids has had mermaids turning up in Glasgow? You think I'm lying, don't you? If I'm lying, I'm dying. As old CW Chanter would say, check this out. Scott's residents can't believe his eyes after spotting a mermaid swimming on a flooded street. Glasgow streets have been badly hit by torrential downpours. Now, I reckon for my byline, I would probably have taken the downpours as given when I see the picture, and maybe would have concentrated on the mermaid thing lying in the middle of the street. You see, that's how we roll here in Glasgow. When it floods, people take advantage of it, and I love this. I love it. There you go. Mermaid was spotted in Battlefield Gardens. You see, even sounds like a war zone where I come from. Battlefield Gardens. You want to live there, eh? A Glasgow resident couldn't believe his eyes after he spotted a mermaid swimming on his flooded street. The man who lives in Battlefield Gardens in the city's south side was looking... The south side, they'll put on this crazy posh accent. It's an absolute dump. Well, there's nice bits, don't get me wrong, but it's an absolute dump. Listen, I only say that because people attack where I live in the East End. Obviously, a very, very reputable part of the East End I'm in here. Reputable for all the wrong reasons. So it says the man who lives in Battlefield Gardens in the city's south side was looking out at the rainwater that turned his street into more of a canal when he spotted a woman wearing a mermaid outfit attempting to swim in the floodwater. How presumptuous! How presumptuous! Maybe she had just washed in from the Clyde. I mean, look, that looks like that doesn't look like somebody that's just out there. It looks like a mermaid in dire need. And look at this. Typical Glaswegians, just standing there watching, not even giving the poor struggling mermaid a hand up, not even trying to keep the water over her or nothing like that. A couple of local heroes at the door over here, probably out having a PPP, thinking, is that really a mermaid? How much can we get for her down the barrows? Probably they weren't going to sell her right enough, but hey, says here, streets in Glasgow's south side have been particularly affected. Looked a bit like a whale, actually, ZX. Oh, did I go there? have been particularly affected with areas of battlefield and shoreline suffering with flooding. And he goes another picture of it. Our very smart, intelligent city. You give it a couple hours of rain and it all comes to a standstill, but at least the traffic lights know not to route you that way. Didn't work out that well for these two cars, eh? Didn't work out too well. Just saying. So anyhow, moving on. Let's see where we're going now. Yeah, we'll go to this Devil's Bath. Check this place out. Visitors flock to Devil's Bath in New Zealand. I wonder if this is connected to Stull in Kansas, since Stull is one of the 7 gates or gateways to hell, isn't that what Scotty said? Scary place. I hope we're enjoying my cryptid comedic content today. I like that. That's a new genre. We've just created a genre. Cryptid comedy. And then they came for the cryptid comedy. Why? Because they'll probably say we're bullying cryptids. I didn't ask what pronouns the cryptids go by. In Scotland, pronouns are a big thing, you know. This unique and brightly coloured natural wonder might look pretty, but you definitely don't want to swim in it. Situated in New Zealand's Waiotapu region. I wonder if my pronunciation of the New Zealand locations are as good as the Australian. I'm just thinking aloud. This bizarre pool of bright green water looks almost too colourful to be real. But while it certainly is no fake, it's also rather dangerous.
It's the Devil's Bath.
Yes, indeed. Its colour comes not from algae, but from hydrogen sulfide gases. Okay, I'm out. I never done chemistry, but that sounds dangerous. And ferrous salts and iron in the water. It sounds like something that some new entity would like crawl out of. Just crawling out. Kissinger or something crawling out the side like a big slug. What did I say that? Damn. The Kissinger is a known cryptid, YouTube. It's a known cryptid. Hangs about governments. Despite the foul stench emanating from it. Ooh. So it says here it also stinks really badly. Of a combination of rotten eggs and sewage. So, you see, this is nature's way of actually keeping people away from dangerous places. You know, if nature wanted you to like go and swim in this place and it was safe, it would probably smell of roses and something really attractive to kind of woo people in. But no, this stinks of like rotten eggs and sewage. It's kind of nature's way of telling you, get away from here. But you know there'll be some sick people out there that probably think, rotten eggs and sewage, my. There's something for everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Don't knock it. Don't knock it. I would say don't knock it till you've tried it, but I'm not recommending anyone tries this. Despite the foul stench emanating from it, the appropriately titled Devil's Bath is a popular tourist attraction, with thousands flocking each year to experience the area's volcanic wonders. Suffice to say, however, that jumping into the green water for a swim would be a very bad idea indeed, as the water is so acidic, it's capable of quite literally melting your skin off. Again, it just almost like backs up what I was saying about it's probably where the Kissinger crawls out of. I'm just saying. So, to round up today, D.B. Cooper. There's a story. There's a story and a half, right? It's the dude that kind of stole the money on the plane and parachuted out, and some money got found, and nobody knew who he was, or some people say it was this cat, other people say it was this guy, and our woman says it was her uncle. Oh, it's one of those stories. I think I first came across it watching Prison Break, come to think of it. The character appeared in that. It was part of the storyline, and came to read that the D.B. Cooper thing related to a real life incident. And ever since then, it's like fascinating. I kind of like the whole real crime kind of stuff, I must admit. It says the new effort is underway to uncover evidence that could help solve the infamous 50-year-old hijacking case. Amateur crime historian Eric Ulis is conducting a 2-day dig along Washington's Columbia River, where he believes that the mysterious hijacker known as D.B. Cooper may have buried some of the money that he stole, as well as his parachute and briefcase. So the hijack occurred in 1971, when the infamous man, who at the time went by the name of Dan Cooper, boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 to travel from Portland to Seattle. Now, during the trip, Cooper called over one of the flight attendants and asked them to write out a note declaring that he had a bomb in his briefcase and that the plane was being hijacked. Remember when that used to happen a lot? Planes getting hijacked and things. I was going to say simpler times, but far more dangerous times to be flying when you think about it. So when the aircraft stopped at Tacoma International Airport, he allowed the passengers to leave in exchange for 4 parachutes and the sum of $200,000 in cash back in the 70s. Probably worth a good bit, substantially more today. So after the plane had taken off again, Cooper strapped the bag of money to himself, put on one of the parachutes, and jumped out somewhere between Seattle and Reno. No trace of him ever found. The $6,000 of the ransom money, however, was later discovered by a young boy in Washington, in the same area that Ulis is now searching in hope of finding further clues. And he believes that during their earlier investigation, the FBI had searched in the wrong area. And as things stand, however, the FBI considers the case closed and is not looking to expand any more resources attempting to solve it. And if Ulis is going to get to the bottom of the mystery, therefore, he'll need to go it alone. I like that one. I must admit, the whole D.B. Cooper thing. What do you think of it? You think a bit of D.B. Cooper? Does anyone know who allegedly it was? I'm sure many people have got many ideas out there, right? It's happening over in the chat room. Just rang my daughter to tell her I was on the Kev Baker show, and I'm buzzing with that. Dude, it's not a claim to fame. It might feel like that now. Give it a couple of weeks, man. Give it a couple of weeks. Your channel. I had no idea what was going on there. I thought Anne had solved the D.B. Cooper case. She was just dancing and singing and getting naked. But she wasn't getting naked. If she was, we wouldn't be here, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So yeah. So many people claiming they know. Absolutely, Steve. What other kind of real crime ones is there? I was watching a thing today about the Ripper, Jack the Ripper. And I had no idea that people that are actually that into it, there's actually a name for it. You know, I joke about being a qualified pseudo-woologist. In fact, I think that might be the first time I've ever joked about that, but it won't be the last. These people call themselves ripperologists. I am not lying. Ripperology. Here we go. So you want to be a casebook Jack the Ripper ripperologist. There you go. So you want to be a ripperologist. I had no idea they actually had a name for it, folks. It says there are numerous books and publications which deal with the mystery of Jack the Bad One. Jack the Bad One. That's what I'll call him. Jack the Knife. Some are factual, or at least claim to be, while others are fictional. Still, others blend fact and fiction, and this creates confusion for a person who wants to seriously study Jack the Ripper and the Whitechapel bad crimes. The purpose of this article is to offer suggestions for the serious study of ripperology. To begin with, what is a ripperologist? Well, according to a program biography, Jack the Ripper, produced by the Arts and Entertainment Network, a ripperologist is a person who's interested in the mystery of Jack the Ripper. So if any of you out there are into that, did you know? Did you know? Did you know that you're officially actually like, I can't say you've got letters after your name or anything like that. You can't call yourself like a doctor of ripperology, or can you? In this day and age, I bet you there's a couple of people LARPing around on the internet calling themselves doctors, and technically they're not lying, albeit they're a doctor of ripperology or a doctor of woology. Well, I start calling myself Doc Baker. No, can't do it. Can't do it. Let's see what's been said. Jack came to Huddersfield, Kev, I remember. Ooh, CE5 Circle, you're turning into a bit of an interesting character, aren't you? I can see you being a central part of this stream in the upcoming weeks until you get fed up with me. So yeah, a woologist. Woologist is better than ripperology. I still think algorithm, think, speculation. We're at Speculation Island, the Love Boat. I think it was the Royal Doctor. I do though. I do. But that wasn't the most interesting thing to happen in the year 1888. No, Glasgow Celtic Football Club were formed that year. That's what it should be remembered for, not those grisly crimes down south. Fred Westology. Absolutely. Tobanology. Now, there's one of the most evil people in Britain, right? Like, nothing says evil like Peter Tobin. Nasty piece of work. Nasty man. Yeah, that's the face of somebody that's committed multiple things to the serial degree. That was his face when he was kicking out at a prison officer on his way to jail. Yeah. Unfortunately, Scottish. Yes. Unfortunately, not one of our finer claims to fame. Look at that. All rise for the king. All rise for the king. 10 months. 10 months he's tolerated me. Wow, man. I need to give out extra badges for stuff like that. So listen, folks, I would love to stay here and speak to you all night. In fact, I will be, only not here, because we'll wrap things up on here now. We'll head on over to Discord. The Truth Frequency Radio website is back working. Chris was doing a lot of work on it over the weekend. So I believe, yes, indeed, I believe we're back up and we're good to go. We're good to go, and we'll also be in disco with the cameras on. So if you want to join us there, please do. I'll try and get back tomorrow for some more pre-show fun. And I want to thank you all for sticking with me, tolerating me, and I hope you enjoyed today's comedic, cryptid woo. And of course, an introduction to a bit of a character, CE5 Circle. Good video, dude. Honestly, check out CE5 Circle on YouTube. Give him a sub. We only took a look at one video. I'm sure there's a lot more interesting stuff on there as well. And I'll be back tomorrow. Marty. Cinny Monk as well. Good to see both of you. Good to see all of you folks. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe out there. And more importantly, I hope you're all staying sane. Because dang, dude, the world is going absolutely back crap cray, right? Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.